And honestly, Kelsey, I just kind of want you and Alyssa both to start out. I could probably let you guys just talk and me not even say anything because we know how you like to talk, but I want you guys just to start out like with what your mindset was going into September, because we know like when you're going into like a promoting month, you can't just fly by the, you can't just go into it with having a mindset that's not ready to promote. So kind of tell me like what you were thinking and what your thought process was whenever you went into September. And Kelsey can go first and Alyssa can go.
Okay. I'm actually going to let Liz go first.
Okay, cool.
Okay, sure.
So I'm really sorry if you guys can hear my messages. I don't know why my computer's doing that, so I apologize. So coming into September, I knew it was the month. Like I knew it was gonna happen. Can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's fine.
I knew it was the month. I knew it was gonna happen just because I had been building little rubies up to this point, like helping other people get small promotions to lead up to this point. Granted, I was a lot of volume away, which we'll get into, I'm sure, from going double, but I just made a decision and I was like, you know what, I'm doing it. I'm going to make a commitment to myself, to my husband, to my family, to my team, that this is the month. And I just knew I was not going to leave 2018 without promoting. It had been a year and a half since I promoted to Diamond. So like I sat at Diamond for a year and a half. And I was just at the point where I'm not going to sit here anymore. I cannot sit here anymore. So coming into the month, it was a lot of adrenaline and a lot of prayers and just talking to God. And I just knew it was the month. This was the month that it was going to happen.
Hang on. Sorry, I had to unmute you.
It's okay. I'm not used to like being locked into mute normally. So anyways, September, you guys, we just made a decision. I mean, I know that sounds like overly simplistic of like, yeah, like you just make a decision that you're going to promote, but it's a decision, but I guess more than that, it's deeper because it's a commitment. And you're just like committing to it. Like, no matter what is happening. And I mean, we had so many distractions as a team in the month, like you wouldn't even believe. Everything was being thrown at us. I mean, my husband got a new job, so we had to look for houses and we had to sell our house, get our house ready to sell, which is not an easy process if you haven't been through that. On the last day of the month, Kaylee Heward, who went double diamond, her mom was in the hospital. She was signing like 12 customers as her mom was in the hospital. I mean, it was not like this easy thing. When you guys see the pretty promotion picture, I mean, that's not the process. Okay. So don't get it twisted that like, oh yeah, they just promoted and it just happened because it was their time. Like you create your time when it comes to this stuff. And obviously, it's not going to be like, if you ask any leader, like it's not just going to organically happen. Like there's no such thing as that. You create that and you just make a commitment and you lead from the freaking front. And as much as it's like, oh, well, I've done it a lot of times where we go into months and we're like, we're going to promote. And then come the 7th, we haven't put in the work and we're like, well, we'll just do it next month. Okay. We can just get it next month. And that's a dangerous word. Like tomorrow, next month, those are the most dangerous words in your vocabulary. Because it just becomes a habit, and it became a habit for me. And I didn't even realize it because I was just like, yeah, well, we're not ready as a team and blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter was like, I really wasn't being urgent about getting ready. And I had to take ownership of that. And I had to figure out like, I can't wait for people to get ready. People get ready when I'm ready. And, I'm the leader of the team and it's going to take that. And even for Liz, she's the leader of her team and she had to take that flag and freaking plant it and put it in the sand and say, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. You can come or you don't have to, but I'm going to get us there. Okay. So I think that it just was really a commitment to making it happen this month, come hell or high water, and meaning that when you say it, keep the promises that you make to yourself.
I just took so many good notes. Kelsey, I just love it when you talk. Okay, so I want to get into specifics. So Alyssa, you were at Diamond. I want to know how much volume, were you away from hitting double? Like when you looked at your chart and everything, and I think because a lot of people think maybe you're only like 1,000 away, but that's not true. Like it was a lot. So how much was it that you had to pull together?
At the beginning of the month, I was 6,500 away.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Look what y'all did. That is so crazy. Okay, so.
And let me say another thing too, just to be like, let this be a real, like, raw Zoom, is that Alyssa called me and she was like, I'm 6,500 away. And I was like, okay. And I was like, so what are you going to do? I was like, and she was just like, I just got to make it happen. And I was like, then make it freaking happen. Like, let's stop saying it and let's just freaking do it. Because I'm promoting this month and I want you to come with me. And we like had this big discussion about it. And there were times when she called me and she was like, dude, nobody's working. Nobody's helping me. Like, I'm feeling really frustrated, like these parts of my chart. And we all have that. I had that too. I was like, this person is not stepping up the way I thought that they would. This person is, my expectation of it was X and Y was happening. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen. It just means that the route that you have to take to get there is going to be different. And Alyssa just didn't make any excuses. Like, doesn't mean there weren't road bumps or blocks or it wasn't harder than she thought it was going to be, but she just did it. And that was like the coolest part about it, is like that it was that commitment. Sorry, Alyssa, didn't mean to cut you off, but I just want people to know, like, it wasn't like you were like, 6,500, I can do that. Like, everybody needs like reassurance every once in a while to be like, can I really do this? Like, are you sure?
No, that literally like gives me chills, because there are so many people on this Zoom right now that like need to hear that, because they're probably in that same position or even closer than that. You know what I mean? Or further away. And so they need to hear that, like, you're a little bit nervous, because in your mind, it seems impossible, but once you start getting in the trenches and start working, like, then you realize that you can do it. So tell us, like, okay, after you decided I'm gonna do this 6,500 in volume, like, I'm gonna do it. We know that you work coast to post, but tell us like your process of signing customers and kind of daily what that looked like.
So Kelsey did a big giveaway last month. She did a $250 Visa and an iPad. And then I did a separate one as well. So at the beginning of every month, like Kelsey announced that the first week, probably, I made a post about it, doing a huge giveaway. Drop an emoji below if you want to be entered. And I had 67 comments, which I was telling you earlier, Kayla. I had 67 comments. And what I do is I message until I get 5 or so people to agree to post for me. And then I stop. And then I pick it up the next day, message. Of those 67 people, or however many people comment on your guys' post, until 5 or 6 people post a post for me, and then stop. And then I just do that until the 67 runs out. And then after the 67 ran out, I started messaging loyal customers that I had signed from this month already, from the previous month. I would go to the active people in Messenger, and I would say, hey, which I can't take credit. Erin Tweed came up with this. She said something like, hey, quick question. Don't worry, I'm not trying to sell you anything, or something like that. And then 9 times out of 10, they'd be like, sure, what's up? And I'd say, I'm doing this giveaway this month. iPad, gift card. Would you want an entry? All you have to do is put up a post on your wall. Just tag me in it. I'll do the rest. Sound good? Something like that. And a lot of people agreed to do it. So I counted my numbers. I had like 65 or some people host a post for me. So when you think about it, 65 people hosting a post for you, to me, that's not a lot, because a lot of posts don't blow up. Like, they don't, but some of them do. And the ones that do, like, I had one girl get 25 comments, and I cannot tell you how many people I signed from that, but I signed a lot of people from that. And all of my orders coming in, I was talking to people about Triple Threat, Keto Coffee and Greens, Fit Packs. I was not, when you are promoting, guys, word to the wise, you do not talk about hair, skin, and nails, or just the cleanse, or, those little products, because that's not going to get you the volume that you need. So my host to post, I was talking to everyone about triple threat. I don't think I put an order into the system until the last week of the month that wasn't under 60 in volume. So every day I would message my little fingers off, even when I didn't feel like it, even when I got home from substitute teaching all day or doing whatever. I just worked my business, guys, and I had so much adrenaline. Like, when you decide to promote, it doesn't matter if you're tired, because you just have so much adrenaline and you have your eye on the prize, and you're just like, okay, I'll stay up until whatever, to message and get it done because it's happening. And like, I was signing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One day I signed like 7 or 8 people in a day, just because I was just like nonstop, go, go, go. So I was just so in the game. Like, you really just have to be in the game. And so every day was, all right, let's get up, let's do it until sundown. I mean, that's really what it was.
And I love that you say that, not every post blows up, because I feel like some people, they'll message 5 people to host a post for them, and if nobody comments, they're like, oh, well, it doesn't work. But you just gave your number. You had 65 people in the month host a post for you. Not 10, not 15, not 20, 65. So you have got to up your numbers. If you're working host to post, it's a numbers game. You've got to get those numbers up. And just because 3 people put up a post for you and nobody commented, that doesn't mean that it doesn't work, because clearly it works. So Kels, kind of tell us like what you were doing.
So I worked, like, I looked at my chart, and I always say, like, when you get to these higher ranks, it's kind of like, it's hard because your focus, and even no matter really what rank you are, your focus can be on different parts of your chart, right? And I had to look at my chart and be like, okay, well, I've had people hit triple before. I've had, people hit double. I've had, 4 legs promote, but they hadn't promoted at the same time. And so I had to look at what part of my chart needs the most help. Okay. And so I took that chart, Taylor, we looked, because she hadn't gone triple before. We had looked at how much she needed for triple, and she was like over 11,000 away. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Like, let's do it. So she was over 11,000 away. And, we just talked with her leaders. We talked about leadership. We talked about touching every single person on your chart, even if person you think is totally dead or you're annoyed with them because they just haven't responded. Like, see if they're interested in doing the host to post, or if they're open to a training or a one-on-one, or, hey, I know the timing wasn't right in the past, but I'd love to, chat with you about if getting back into it, if this is a better time. Because even if those people just get 1 or 2 orders, you guys, it helps. Okay. And it helps your team morale to have more people working. And so, we kind of broke it down like that. And I like to kind of break it down numbers wise. So, okay, 11,000, how many people do we have working? Okay, there's X number of us. I don't even remember like what the math was, but you break it down by how many people you have working, and you divide that total volume number. And then you divide how many days left you have in the month, and break it down to how much volume you need every single day. Because that number is so much easier to look at than looking at 11,000, because that would literally make anybody go insane. But if you can say, okay, I need to send 100 BV a day, that's going to feel a lot better. Okay, I can get 1 triple thread a day. And so, I was telling somebody, I'm like, I thought I worked hard before, but like, I literally have never worked as hard as I did last month, ever. And the thing is we trick ourselves, and I don't even know if it's a trick, but like, we have this thing where we're like, we're working, like, yeah, I'm working really hard every single month. I'm treating like a promotion month, like, but until you actually like get into it, it's like, you're just not, and you think you're working hard, but you're really just not. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And like, I'm guilty of it too. Like, I wasn't really working as hard as I could have. And be honest, maybe even the first week of the month, I mean, I was working hard, but like, I wasn't grinding. Like, I'm telling you, the last freaking 10 days of the month, we were grinding. Like, I put together this chat, and I was just like, okay, we're promoting. And it was only like the workers, like the people who had been working that month. And I was like, this, let's go. And like, we would just hop on Zooms together, because it can feel very lonely when you're like in a promotion month and maybe you don't have a lot of workers on your team, or, you know, maybe it's just like you and a couple other people. It can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this like all by myself. And I never wanted anybody to feel that way. Like, even people who weren't on my press chart, like they were still in that chat because they were promoting, and I want everybody to feel like they're a part of the team, whether they're on the chart or not, because they are still part of the team. And I want them to feel the momentum and see what, you know, it's like to go into promotion month and what it really takes. And so, you know, that chat was popping off at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 6 a.m., you know, and everybody was just up working, and it was fun. Like, I forget how fun like it was to do that. And it wasn't like I would want to do that every day, because I wouldn't, like, but it was fun because like that was like us doing it together, and you knew that everybody was working and busting just as hard as you were. And it's like when you're on a team, like you go to conditioning, right? Like, nobody freaking wants to do the conditioning, but like once you get over it and you're like laying out and you guys are all so tired, and you're like, oh my God, thank God that was done. Like, that's literally how it felt after we were done. And so I didn't view it as like a bad like grind where it's like, oh my God, this is so exhausting. Like, it actually gave me life, like so much life. And I fell in love with the business again. And not that I ever really fell out of love with it, but it was just like, this is the stuff that makes this like different than any other thing that you could ever do. Is like, I would never go to a 9-to-5 and be hyped. Like, I would never like feel the way that I feel towards like any other job but this. And so, you know, having that like feeling of just knowing that, dang, we are working so hard and we know exactly why we're working and what we're working for, and we're all working for it together. Like, there's nothing like that, because you really truly are a team at that point.
I love it. Okay. So let's go back to Alyssa and host a post. So what did you feel like when you were asking people to host a post? What posts were you using? And like, can you give us kind of like maybe some wording just so people can kind of get an idea of what you would say, you know, the process of how you ask somebody to host a post?
Yeah. So I, let me pull up wording. I literally sent the same host a post to everyone, like the same one. Because it opened up the door for triple threat or like big orders. Let me see if I can find, basically I would message them and I would say, hey, like, do you mean when they comment on the post?
Yeah, just like when they comment, like how you would message them. And if they said that they would put up a post or whatever, what post you would give them.
Okay. So if they comment, I would say, hey girl, I saw your comment on my giveaway. All I'm asking you to do is put up a post on your wall, tag me in it, and I'll do the rest. Copy and paste a post or whatever. And a lot of people like did not respond, but some people did. And some people put up a post for me. So I pretty much use the same post all month. It says, who's serious about losing 20 plus pounds in 90 days or before the end of fall, one or the other. My friend Alyssa is hosting a 90-day weight loss challenge and looking for product models to use her products at her cost, wholesale cost, and share results. Drop an emoji if you want more info. And that was opening up to them to be able to talk to them about bigger products. But what I would do is, okay, so someone comments on the post. They say interested or drop an emoji. I message them and I say, hey, Kayla, hey, Kayla, you're interested in losing weight. That's pretty much all I say. And they're like, yeah, I want to lose weight. And so I send them, which I don't know if you guys have these. I don't know who came up with the weight loss thing, Kelsey.
Well, Jasmine did, but we just like made it, like she came up with the idea, but we just made it our own. But like we just put together like a weight loss questionnaire, and it basically just asks like, because I think like we were brainstorming.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. And we were brainstorming about like, why are we just selling cleanses? Like, why are we just selling like hair, skin, and nails? Why are, you know, what was it? And yeah, I'll send it to Kayla and she can post it in like the Zoom comments. But like really just like the problem is that people were commenting on a cleanse post because they liked the results of the cleanse, but they were hoping, like, their real weight loss goal was 50 pounds. And so we weren't really solving any problem and getting to like help customers. And that's like what I feel like has changed like how I enrolled, because I really truly felt like I was actually helping somebody. Like, I wasn't just trying to like, oh, buy this cleanse because it will help clean out your system. It was like, okay, let me ask you questions. Like, what are your health goals? Like, what is your weight loss goal? How much water do you drink? Alyssa's favorite question. You'll be amazed how people say they don't drink any water at all.
Any.
And you're like, how are you still alive? I don't really understand. But so like, how much water are you drinking? Are you a coffee drinker? Because if people are like, yes, I love coffee, then I'll send them like a keto, like I'll send them stuff about keto coffee and weight loss. And then so the other questions are like, what amount would you budget for that? Like, how much are you willing to budget to reach your health goals or something? And so we put together that questionnaire, and it has like helped, because then it opens the door to like, hey, the cleanse is going to be a perfect kickstart for you, but you also need these other products if you want to reach your true weight loss goal of 50 pounds or 20 pounds or 15 pounds or whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah, I love that questionnaire. Send that to me, because, and I totally agree, because like, I love doing a cleanse, because you're right, people like the results and they like the wording of a cleanse, but they really need more products than just a cleanse. But okay, so yeah, keep going, Alyssa, with what else you do.
So I say, okay, great, I can't wait to help you crush your goals with these amazing products, but first, can you answer a few quick questions for me so I can better assist you? This is all text replacements. My conversations move very, very quickly. And then I send them that questionnaire, and they always like type 1 through 8 and then answer the questions. A lot of people give me a question mark for the 8th one, which is budget. And so I just kind of send them a voice message and say, so budget is really going to help me figure out what I can recommend to you, whether you need a system or you can just do 1 or 2 products or whatever it may be. And they'll always respond. And so from that, like Kelsey was saying, if they tell me they love coffee, I always recommend the keto coffee and greens. Okay. So I send them a text replacement about the keto coffee, a text replacement about the greens. And then I also send them literally 6 to 10 before and after pictures, like blowing up their phone. I send them the keto coffee, like the, like, you know, you can screenshot it on your website about the ingredients in it and what it does. I send that. I send the greens, the ingredients and what it does. And like I said, 6 to 10 before and after pictures of keto coffee and greens. And that every time people are like, oh my God, like those results. And same with triple threat. Like I send 8 to 10 before and after pictures of triple threat. And I'm like, okay, so what are you thinking? And if they're like, what's the price or what's the cost? I'll say, okay, so triple threat retails for, I say $200. But with my VIP discount, it's only $97. And they're like, oh, what's VIP discount? And then I send them a text replacement of what the loyal customer program is. You get 1 product a month for the next 3 months. You get free shopping sprees, discount for life, stuff like that. It always works for me. If you want me to send that to you, Kayla, I can. Works like a charm for me. And then 9 times out of 10, they're like, if we get to that point, they're like, okay, how do I sign up? I get their number and then I text them. And I probably processed 50, if not more, out of the 67 customers I signed this month on my end. Because I have found that if you give people your website, you're going to be waiting for a really long time, or they're just not going to sign up. People forget, I don't even know. But I always try to get their information, and I send them an image of what I need from them, and they'll send it to me, and I'll just enter them into my system.
Perfect. I love that. I share the product sheets with them so they can read over it too, but then I like sharing this before and after pictures. That's really good. Okay, so Kelsey, are you kind of doing the same thing to get your customers?
Yeah. I mean, like mostly all of them came from either stories or host to post. I mean, I blew the F up on my stories. Like you know how like on the stories on your Instagram, they have like the time thing. Mine were like this big because I had so many And like, I would have like timers for like every 2 hours to like post another round. And I mean, I didn't care because like people don't have to view those. They can just skip over yours. Like, so if they don't want to see it, but like I got so many hits and like some people were like, I've been thinking about doing it for a while, but like I keep seeing your posts and like, you know, then people, and they're so ready. Like, they're just so ready to freaking do it. Like by the time they message you about it, they're just like, okay, here's my information. And so like, yeah, it was worth it. Plus, I mean, most of the time I was screenshotting them from Naraya because hers were so good. So it wasn't like it was taking me so long. And so that was one thing. And then Taylor came up with this awesome thing to where like, if you know, like if you ask like people to host a post, like you always have the same people that comment and they're just thirsty for free samples or whatever you're giving away. And you're like, bro, like you already posted for me. Like, I don't know what to do. Like those people who just like troll for free stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So like, you have those people. And so she was like, just make them post about your giveaway. And so they posted like, hey, my friend Tay or my friend Kelsey is like doing a Visa gift card giveaway and a free iPad. Like all you have to do is drop an emoji to be entered. And so then she would message those people about like how they get entries. And then that would happen. And then what I did is because, you know, you always have people that are like, let me think about it, or, you know, let me get back to you, or I got to ask my husband, or whatever reason people don't order right away. Let me wait till payday. I would always say, okay, great. No problem. In the meantime, do you want to be entered to win this free thing and just put up a status on your wall? So like anybody that like delayed ordering, and even after people ordered, I'd be like, oh, one last thing. Like, do you want to get entered to win this free giveaway? Like every single freaking person, like they were hosting a freaking post for me. And it was amazing because a lot of them, like, I think I got like 50% of my customers from like one trail of like host to post. So it was like this one girl commented and she hosted a post, and then this other, like, then she bought something from me and then she hosted a post, and then she had like 25 people comment and they all hosted a post and like were buying stuff. And then it was like this whole like literal like snowball thing where it's just like so many people. I think I probably added 500 people to my network this month just from doing hosted posts because I was friending all of them.
Yeah, I love those two. Well, I love the troll test. I have so many of those. I'm like, you've already posted about cleanse 3 times for me. Like, it's not working. So I love that post about the giveaways. I'm going to do that. And then I love how you said, in the meantime, when you put up a post for me. And what I really love about everything that you said is that you just weren't thinking about it. You were just working. And while you were working, the ideas were just flowing. And that is God, you guys, because she was working so hard and and praying hard, and God was just filling her mind with these ideas. I think sometimes we just sit around and we think too much about like, oh, well, should I message this person? Oh, well, how many messages have I sent today? Just work, just start doing it, and everything is just going to flow and start coming to you. And I always, when you start that momentum, and it until you've had momentum, it's hard to explain what it is, but that's what it is. It's when things just start coming and coming and you can't stop it, and you can't sleep. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited. And so that's what was happening. But it's because they were working. They weren't thinking about it. They weren't like, oh, should I message this person? Or, oh, should I do this? Or, like,
yeah,
oh, I've done enough today.
And I was like doing things that like I had never done before. Like, for instance, I would pick my kids up, right? And then somebody messaged me their information. I would literally pull over my car and put the order through from my phone. Like, I would be like, okay, like, guys, we got to stop. Like, after this, Mom will let you play a game on her phone, but like, you guys got to be quiet for a second so I can freaking put this order through. Like, I wasn't doing that before. I'd be like, oh, I'll get it when I get home. And like, I don't know, like that, like little, like there's little things like that I'm sure you guys have done before too, where it's like, oh, somebody's like, okay, yeah, I'll host a post for you. And you're like, well, I'll get it when I'm not so busy. Like, I wasn't doing that because the busy was my work, right? Like, that wasn't like, I didn't have that time of like, oh, well, I'll do it. Like, no, I was working all the time. And if you are promoting, like, that's kind of how it has to be. Just during those days, and just knowing that like it was going to be to an end. But like, I mean, you're right. Like, we really weren't sleeping, like, just cause not like, I would literally have to force myself to go to bed. I was literally counting sheep some nights to like force myself to be like, calm down. Like, literally your adrenaline is going.
No, I know and you're right. It's not like that. We're not saying this is like that forever.
Mm-mm.
But if you are wanting to hit that promotion, like, and you decide, you know, this is your month, that's what it has to look like. It doesn't feel, like Kelsey said in the beginning, it doesn't feel pretty. It doesn't feel easy. It doesn't feel like calm, and it feels hard. It feels like you are working a lot, and it can be frustrating, and, you know, but that's what it's supposed to feel like, and it's not going to feel like that forever, and the reward is worth it. Okay, so what else? What other tips you got? Just start talking.
Well, one thing that came to mind is this tip that or not a tip, but it was a quote that I was listening to, like, self-development. And Eric Thomas said, ideas make sense, but execution makes money. And I was like, dang, that's so true. Because I'm like one of those people where I'm like, wow, that's such a good idea. I came up with this awesome idea. Or like, yeah, I'm so good at talking about things, and like, I'm so good at inspiring people, or like, I talk, like, I can make a vision and create a vision for all these people, but like, I'm not freaking executing anything. Like, I'm talking and that's not doing anything. And so I just shut up for a little bit. Like, I really did. Like, you could ask my team, like, I really wasn't like doing that much hyping. I mean, I was instilling the vision, but like, I wasn't blowing up the chats. I wasn't, you know, posting a crap ton on the team pages unless it was a direct tip from like somebody I signed or whatever, or going live and talking about like what needs to be happening at certain things. But like, I think there's a season for everything in your business. And when it's promotion season, you just don't talk that much. Like, you talk in a different way because you're working, and people know if you're working because you're really just not talking that much, and you're just an E-suite, order after order after order after order after order. And it's not because of anything else other than you're just doing the work. Like, you're just doing what it takes. And it's like, it's like when you first come into the business, and you first come into the business and you're just so freaking excited that you don't know any different. And the difference is you don't really have anybody to talk to when you first come into the business except for your upline. So you're just kind of doing the work because that's what it takes. And then what happens is you grow all these awesome relationships with people, which are amazing, and they're fun, and they make you feel good. But then you maybe promote to Ruby, and then you go Emerald, and then you go Diamond, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in all these groups and these pages, and it's so fun, and I'm like this leader, and you get distracted. And not all distractions are bad. Like, not all distractions are like these horrible things that happen. Like I said, like, my husband got offered this amazing new job, and like, and that was like a good thing, but it was a distraction from what my focus needed to be. Okay. And it doesn't mean it was bad. Like, distractions don't mean it was bad. Like, it could be something like, you know, oh, you went to go to like on a family trip, or somebody graduated, or somebody came in for the weekend, or whatever. But like, it's not bad. It's just not what your focus should be. I don't even know where I was going.
I love it.
That's what my tip was.
What else? Alyssa, what else do you have? What else do you want to say?
I think really just your promotion is in your hands. It's in no one else's hands. Like Kelsey was saying in the beginning, there were a lot of people that weren't turning out like I thought it was going to be this month. I thought all the pieces and the stars were going to align, and they didn't. But when you have that end goal in mind, you are just so like adrenaline. Like I told Kelsey a couple times, I would just wake up in the morning and just be like sometimes at 5 a.m, just be like, oh my God, like I gotta go message people. I gotta go. Like, but you're just so excited. But your promotion's in your hands. Like, you cannot rely on the people in your turn. I just had a leadership Zoom with my team before this, and I was telling them, like, you're gonna inspire your team by what you're doing. You're going to inspire your team by empowering them and showing them like what it takes to promote in this business. You're not going to inspire them by nitpicking and managing and micromanaging. You just have to do the work. You just have to put in the work. So at the end of the day, like, if you want to promote, go for it. but you have to realize like the promotion is in your hands and no one else's. You cannot rely on that ruby to fill all the volume. You can't rely on the emerald to fill all the volume. Like you're gonna have to put in the work. And my goal at the beginning of this month, so I think I signed like 40 customers in June. And at the beginning of this month, I was telling my husband, I'm like, man, that's going to be tough. Like, but I'm going to try to sign 40 customers this month to go double. And then I hit 40, like before the 20th of the month, maybe, I don't know. And then I was like, oh, I'm going for 50. And then I hit 50 and I'm like, okay, I'm going for 60. And I just was like, whatever it takes, if it takes 80 freaking customers, 100 customers to get to double, I will. Like, I just kept filling $400, $400, $400. Okay, $400. Like, just top line alone, because my husband was my diamond, my mom was my emerald. So double chart is a diamond and an emerald. My mom was my emerald, my husband was my diamond. So I had top line me, top line Adam, top line my mom. That's 1,600 alone that I had to fill of people that were not working. Then I had to go into the emerald and help her and place volume there and place, all throughout the chart. And so I was like, you know what? If it takes 100 customers, so be it. I'm going to do it. So at the end of the day, guys, if you want to promote, it's in your hands. You have to take control of your promotion. It's no one else's responsibility but yours.
Yeah, and everybody wants to be a double. Everybody wants to be a double like Alyssa is until it's time to do what double diamonds do. Everybody wants to be like, yeah, I want to be a double, but like until it's time to do what double diamonds do. Like, that's what it takes to freaking do it. And if you're not willing to do it, then you're not going to get it. Like, just pure point blank period. Like, if you take nothing else away from this, know that when you take action, you are taking control. Okay? That's what's happening. So if you feel like you want to be in control of your chart, stop complaining about the people that aren't working and go get new ones. You cannot promote by complaining about filling 400 boxes that are dead. Because guess what? Those 400 boxes, they aren't making crap. You're doing it for your promotion. Mm-hmm. You're doing it for you. You're doing it because you want to promote. And you know what? That's what it takes, filling some dead 400 boxes. Okay? And that's just at the end of the day, like the real and raw of it. And if you have the resentment of like, I mean, trust me, and the only reason I know about this resentment is because I've had it before. If you have this resentment of, oh my God, I'm just filling this freaking box and like this person is just like going to make money because of my work and like blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you're making the money. Like, you're doing it for yourself or you wouldn't be doing it. Let's not get it twisted. So don't forget that this is your promotion that you're going for. It does not depend on other people. It depends on what you do, because I'm nobody special that like I sign. Like, people always say like, oh my gosh, like you just sign a bunch of people that just work. And I used to feel that way about Erin. I literally used to feel that way. And I used to be mad all the time and be like, gosh, she just has all these freaking workers on her team and it's so freaking annoying because she has me and she has Cassie and she has Kayla and she has Autumn, and like I would name all these freaking people and I would be like, and I don't have anybody, I just have this, and like, I would just play this story in my freaking head. And you know what? It just takes time. And the people that you're signing are a reflection of who you are. So if you're signing people that aren't really in the business, it's because something that you're doing, you're not really in the business. Something is holding you back. And so the better you become, the better people you're going to sign. The more you grow, the more freaking people you're going to like sign that are just where you are mentally. And even if they don't feel like it at first, that your like personality and your energy is going to rub off on them. But if you just have that mindset of like, oh, like when am I going to get that person, or when is this going to happen? Like, it's going to happen when you start signing. Like, it's not a coincidence. Like, yeah, I signed Alyssa. I mean, I didn't sign Alyssa, but I signed her sister. And then, her sister signed her by the grace of God. And I just like, we just connected, and I could have been complaining that her sister wasn't really doing that much, but instead Alyssa just kept seeing, oh, this is Kelsey. That's the girl that my sister signed with. Like, she's doing stuff and I want to do what she's doing. And because I was just being me, we found each other. And that's it. And it just comes to that. There would be plenty of people on my chart that are double diamond right now that would have already quit had I not been who I was. And that's not to brag on me. That's just to tell you the impact that you can have on other people. And I'm nobody special. I'm just somebody who's still here, that's still working, and that's still going after it, and that believes in her freaking team. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. Like, this is not a one-person rodeo. Like, we all freaking did it together. But people need a captain, and they need to see that they can do it. And when you do it, people will know that you can, that they can too. The last question too, that you should ask yourself, and Pam, or I don't even know if it was Pam. I think it was this lady, this like numerologist who came to Alyssa's Billy's house, and she just said, she said one time her therapist, like, she was in there complaining about all of her problems, and she said her therapist asked her, "Have you suffered enough? Is it time to do something about it?" And it was like, dang. Like, and that is the question I want to ask you guys. Like, have you suffered enough? Have you made yourself suffer enough? Are you sick of writing the same story about, well, my mom was this. I grew up in low income. I don't know what it's like to make money. Only people who are lucky can make money. Saying, well, I came from a single parent household and nobody has a college degree, or I came from, I'm a single mom, or I work all the time. I never even see my kids anyways. And, blah, blah, blah. But like, okay. And have you suffered enough? Like, are you willing and ready to do something about it? Like, and most of the time people aren't. And if that's you, you have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, are you ready to do something about it? And if the answer is no, what's it going to take to get you ready? Kayla, Alyssa, I want you to unmute her.
Oh, okay. I didn't know she was muted. She muted herself.
We always mute ourselves.
Why?
Because there's like an echo sometimes when more than one people. So I just muted myself. I didn't realize I couldn't unmute myself. When Pam was at our leadership retreat, because I was at the same one that Kelsey's talking about in Indy, Pam was saying, like, when you have team members come to you and they're complaining and they can't work their business because of this or that or whatever, Pam just listens and she says, okay, are you going to do something about it? Like, like Kelsey was saying, have you suffered enough? Are you going to do something about it? And if they keep going and they keep complaining and like telling you why they can't work their business, they're not going to hear any coaching or anything you're about to tell them, because they're not ready in their mind to hear what you have to say. They're not ready for coaching because they're still stuck in their situation that they're not ready to get over yet. And so I think that really stuck with me too when we were there, because I was just like, dang, that's so true. Like, I know we all do. We all have those people that come to us and they're like, well, I can't, and blah, 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 and poor me. And it's like, okay, are you going to do something about it? And even my potentials, like, I have been asking tough questions to my potentials who are like, I'm a single mom, blah, blah, blah. I just can't afford to do the business. I'm like, how long has money been this tight? A lot of the times they say for a while. What are you doing about your situation? Like, what are you doing to better your situation? Like, I had a girl tonight and she's like, you want to just call me? So I did. I called her and like we had a 10, 15-minute conversation, because you just have to realize, like, people have excuses, but unless they're ready to do something about it, there's nothing you yourself can do until they're ready to hear it and they're ready to take it in and take your coaching.
And that was one of the hardest things to learn for me, because you guys know, like, I can talk. And one of the things that I had to learn as a leader is, like, people weren't, like, I could say all that I wanted and I could be speaking 100% truth. And that's like what I've always said. Like, I always want to be somebody that if people know that when they come to me, they're going to get honesty. Like, I always want to be that person. But I was giving them the honesty before they were ready to hear it. And so they weren't really hearing it. They were just hearing the bitchiness. And until, like, I learned to just, like, wait until they were ready, did it become effective at all. Because what it was doing beforehand was it was becoming frustration for both of us. And it was a disconnect. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like why aren't people ready? And I was trying to figure out the why, but it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong because we all have the same goal. Nobody joins this business because they want to fail. Okay. And so they have to though be ready and be able to see like, and that comes with you asking those questions because sometimes those questions just allows them to become ready, right? Like maybe they're not ready right that second and they just keep bitching. And then like after the conversation, they're like, dang, like I was just like being complaining the whole time. And, you know, I think the biggest thing is being able to focus on what's the future. So like, where do you want to go from here? You know, Pam said all she says sometimes when that happens is like, isn't that interesting? Like, are you ready to do something about it? All right, good. Now, where do you want to go from here? And putting it back on them because it is just, it's important that you know that even if you know what you want and people aren't ready, it's okay. You're going to get those people. And your job is to know that you have to have a long-term mindset in this business. That's what this business is about, is having that long-term mindset. And people are like, oh my God, I messaged 100 people today and I didn't sign anybody. And I'm like, bro, the flower doesn't grow the same day you plant the seed. Okay? It doesn't. And so what happens is that you're going to get so many customers next month from what you did today. You're never not making money. You just might not be making it right now. Okay. But do you know how many times I've collected on somebody else's seeds?
Mm-hmm.
Probably more than I know. And it's just because everybody else was busy posting and planting seeds and then they quit before the seeds sprouted or enough seeds for them sprouted. And people were like, oh my gosh, like one of my friends used to do that, but she quit, but I'm really interested in trying the wraps. Like I thought about trying it with her, but she just left the business. I don't even think she does it anymore, but I seen your post and I would love to try some. Like, great. You know? And so that was something that I've had to, you know, help people with, is because it's never in vain. Like what you're doing is never in vain. Like you're always, like what you did today is always going to pay off. It just might not pay off right now. And it will pay off when you just are consistent, and it will continue to multiply in the compound effect. Like I've already signed like 6 or 7 customers this month. And you guys, to be honest, like I've taken like the first day I was like, I had to get like all this stuff going for my team page for the new month. Like I really didn't send out that many messages. Like I posted like 1 or 2 times maybe. And I didn't really do that much stuff for yesterday, like actual messaging and stuff. And I've already signed 6 customers because of everything that I was working so friggin' hard last month. And now they're like, people are just sending me their information. I'm like, okay, dang, this is awesome.
Here's my credit card.
Yeah, exactly. What do you need from me again?
I want you guys the last like 10 minutes that we have. I want you guys to talk about like when you get tired or when a distraction comes, because we know that's going to come, and it's happened to both of you, you know, in the past month. Because I think, you know, we go real hard the first few days of the month, and then it's like the 12th, the 15th, the 18th, the 20th, and we're like, you know, you're not working as hard. So I want you to talk about like, you know, when you felt tired and when the distractions came and how you worked through them.
Go ahead, Liz.
I'll let you go because I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Like, I didn't let anything get in the way last month. Like, I can't sit here and tell you that I had a major distraction, because I didn't. I was so set on my goal that I don't even think I can speak on behalf of that. But Kelsey, Brian did get a job. And when I saw the pictures of your house, I'm like, what is this girl doing? Like, she done cleaned up her whole house and she's promoting. So you could speak, Kelsey.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. The Bible says his mercies are made new every morning. And I grew up Catholic, so I have struggled with that for a little bit. Just knowing that, like, you know, he remembers you in your best and not your worst. And so when those distractions come, and maybe you let it affect a day or an hour or whatever, that you have to give yourself grace because it is what it is, but it will be what you make of it. Okay. And so when you decide, okay, like that sucks. Like I did not do that very well. Like, I should have definitely not gone to dinner and that lasted 3 hours or whatever. Like I didn't have time for that. Whatever thing that you're just feeling like, gosh, that was not a great decision, or I should have been doing this. Cause the bad thing about the business, or not the bad thing, but the tricky thing about it is like, you can always feel like you can do more. Like you could work this business 24 hours a day and still feel like you could be doing more because there's always going to be more to be done. But really realizing like what is like your goal. So what is something you can control? And it really just has to be you deciding like how much effort you're putting into it, and like it being something within yourself, and knowing that, hey, if that day wasn't what you wanted it to be, go double your efforts next month. And what I think had happened to me in the past is like I would sign 1 or 2 customers and I'd be like, damn, I had a really good day. And I woke up on like, I think it was like the 28th or 27th. I don't remember which day. And I was like, I'm going to sign freaking 12 people today. Why? Well, 12 is my favorite number, but why 12 came to mind, I really don't know. Because I don't even think I've signed like over 5 customers in a day. And why I thought I could do that, like it's beyond me. But, I just was like, I'm just doing it. Like I'm signing freaking 12 customers. And so I did not stop. Like I just didn't stop. And I think I signed 10 customers that day. And it was literally just because I told myself I'm going to sign 12. And so I was like pissed. I remember calling Taylor when I was at 9, and I think she was at the women's faith conference or something. And I was like, oh my God, I've only signed for you 9 customers today. She's like, do you hear yourself? And I was like, yeah, but still like I wanted 12. Like, and so raise your standards for yourself. You know, don't be comfortable with, you know, oh, signing this many or whatever. Like just go, just keep going. And like Alyssa said, like next month she needs to freaking sign 100 when she goes triple, because like her standards are just going to be upped. And it doesn't mean that you're competing with anybody, just yourself. That's it. And so when it comes to those trials and it comes to those moments, I think the biggest thing that you have to do is be self-aware and realize like, okay, that didn't feel good. Like I feel kind of crappy about my business right now because like, or my performance in the business. So I'm going to start tomorrow, or I'm going to start this hour, or I'm going to, you know, stay up an extra hour. So my like distractions, like I would realize them, and I knew because I take time every morning and just reflect on like what I want my day to look like and set my intention. And, you know, if it came like, I remember the day that I freaking, oh my charger's not over here. But the day that I cleaned my house, you guys, my house is a freaking disaster. My mom, when she saw the pictures of my house on Zillow, she was like, is that your house? Like,
I was really confused too. I'm like, there's no way she hired a cleaning service.
No. So I like move stuff around to make the rooms look bigger. And if any of you guys have ever sold a house, that's what it feels like. So, you like have to take all the clutter out. Like, you know, my landing on my stairs is like a junk place. So like there's always stuff there. And so like, I mean, that took a lot of time. And so I just remember feeling like, gosh, like that took so much time today. And so I would just have to stay up later. And I just worked a lot then. And so, I mean, I even told Brian, like, I was like, and the thing is, and he can probably speak to this a little bit more, but I think I've said I'm going press so many times that like he might have not believed me. And that's sad. You know, I'll be like, nope, this is the month. Like, and he'd be like, okay, great. And then like, he even asked me like 2 days before, he was like, so is it like, how are you feeling about it? I'm like, it's happening. It's like, really? Like, it's like, he still didn't believe me until like, but it was my fault. Like, I wasn't even mad that he felt that way because I had said it so many freaking times before, and that I needed to like make that commitment to myself. And So yeah, so I mean, those distractions are just going to come, and know that like you're not alone. Like you're not alone. The devil, I always say the devil is not creative. The things that he says are the same to everybody. You're not pretty enough. You're not skinny enough. You don't work hard enough. You know, you don't do this. You don't, you're not worthy of success. Like whatever, it's all the same to everybody. We all feel those thoughts. And one of the tips that I loved from the leadership retreat was, I don't know if she's on here, but her name's Christy. And she said that whenever she feels like that thought, because we all have those thoughts, whenever she feels that negative thought coming, she literally just visualizes it going into this big black box, and she locks it and throws away the key, like in her head. And I was like,
Christy Reedy.
Yeah.
Is it Christy? Oh my gosh, I love her so much.
Yeah. And she was telling me that she does that because she's just always been a confident person. And that's like why she feels like she is because anytime she has like self-doubt or whatever, she literally visualizes that thought like crossing her head. And I did that so many times this month. Anytime like doubt crept in, I was just like, nope. And I just watched the thought go into the black box and threw away the key and just focused on what was happening that moment. And it's just practicing, you guys, and knowing like, I thought I was ready 6 months ago, a year ago to go prez, but I look back and I'm like, I wasn't ready. Like I wasn't ready, and I might have gotten ready. I don't know, but I know that God's timing is always perfect, but you also have control of that timing. Like it's not your time, but he will bless you when it is your time. Like, and everything will feel right. And I will tell you, around the 15th of the month, you'll feel like wrong. It'll feel wrong around the 15th. It always happens. Somewhere between the 10th and the 20th, there's like this huge disconnect of where that decision becomes so crucial, because you can be like, next month, it's not looking so good right
now. That's what like, I just want to instill in everybody is that like, the 10th through the 20th, you're so right. It's those days where you're just kind of like floating, that you've got to be grinding. Like Kelsey said earlier, you've got to be going harder than you were on the first or the second, like, because it's not, you're not going to want to do it. So yeah, I love that. What else? I mean, well, we've already talked an hour. I don't want to keep everybody, because I know people probably want to go to bed or go to work, but is there anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
I don't have anything else really. I'm sure Kelsey does, but I feel like this was really good and helpful for people who are promoting, and just know, like Kelsey said, okay, one person, like, well, obviously a huge promoting leg on her chart was 11,000 away, which just means Kelsey was probably like 15 away from going triple with boxes. And I was 6,500. And so you guys going ruby, diamond, even double, like miracles can happen. They really can. You just have to believe in yourself, and you have to make a commitment to yourself that you're going to do it no matter what. Even when the 15th of the month, like they were saying, creeps in, that's when I literally had a breakdown. Like I remember being in the shower, just like crying and thinking, I can't do it this month. Like those awful thoughts. But I'm like, nope. It's happening. It has to happen. And just like getting myself out of that fog. But like 15,000, 6,500, like if we can do it, so can you. Like, yes. You on here who's 2,000 away, you can do it. Like 2,000, right. That's incredible. If I had 2,000, I'd be like, yes. That's what I had the last 5 days of the month. I had 2,000 still left to go. So you have to believe in yourself. Yeah, you have to know it's possible. You can do it.
I love that. It's just like Alyssa said, if she can do it, so can you. Why can't you? And that's what I've always said about this entire business. I looked at Erin's tweet and I thought, she is no different than me. If she can do this business, there is no reason that I can't either. And so I always like this whole business, this whole promoting thing, like you just have to decide, like they said, that you want it and that you can do it. And so and you're right, Alyssa and Kelsey, they're not, I mean, Kelsey's super inspiring, but she's working hard, y'all. It's not like this, it all just like comes to her. And I've always said, I felt like I related better to people when I was not a triple diamond, because they could relate, they could imagine. It's almost, if you're working full time and working this business, you have an advantage because they can relate to you better than they can me or Kelsey or even Alyssa. I think Alyssa stays at home now, but like, use that to your advantage. Talk about how you work this business while you have a full time job. That's going to attract some distributors. So, yeah, Kelsey, is there anything else you want to say?
Is realize that your promotion is bigger than your rank. Okay. Your promotion is not just about you and the title, like the title, and Mary Beth said this, and so I'm stealing it from her, but like, I'm not defined by my rank. I'm defined because I'm a child of God and I'm his. Okay. Like, I am daughter of a king. And so you have to realize that, like, yeah, the rank is an awesome, like, check mark. Almost like you hit that exit of, yep, I hit that promotion. Okay, now what? But you're doing it for reasons that are so much bigger than yourself. And you're doing it because this business needs leaders like you guys, because this business needs people that run it with integrity, because this business is looking for people like you who have the qualities that you have. Okay. You're not just another distributor. If you are placed in this business and you have that inner drive to succeed, it's because God wants to push you, and this is where you're meant to be. And so don't push that drive to succeed away. And just remember that, like, your windshield is way bigger than your rearview mirror for a reason. You're supposed to look forward a lot more than you are backward. And so focus on where you're going and keep your eye on the prize, like Alyssa said, because really when you put your mind to it, anything is possible.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for doing this. I'm going to post this. I'm going to upload this tonight. We know how slow my internet is, so it might take a while. But thank you so much, y'all. Love you guys. And I'm so proud and happy for you. And you're just such a blessing to share this stuff with us. So thank you, and good night, everybody.